English Bible, it's Psalm 32, verse 8. I will instruct you and teach you about the direction you should go. I'll advise you and keep my eye on you.
Thank you, Kathy. I will instruct you and teach you in the way you should go. I will counsel you with my loving eye on you. Hence, the source of the sermon title, God's Eyes Are My Guide. Well, I don't know about you, but I have heard enough graduation and baccalaureate sermons and speeches in my life, heard enough to choke a horse, not really Sue, choke a cow, something else. And they all tend to paint, the same picture of you will be successful and you will achieve much and you will advance. You can do anything you set your mind to. The only thing that limits you is your dreams. You can be anything you want in life. And I am a sucker for those kind of motivational words. And I've lived long enough to know that that is not always realistic. Those speeches act like that life is one conquest after another, one summit scaled after another. And I just want to tell you, Brooke, and all of us, that is a great goal to have, but we're not going to scale every summit the first time, or the second time, or the third time. We are going to fall down a lot. We're going to roll down that mountain. That's the reality. I can tell you that I have fallen many times. I have failed many times. And that's not to discourage you, Brooke, or anyone else. It's just to say that life is more complicated than that, right? Isn't that right? It's not just you go and you're going to achieve it. Those are great words, and we hope that for all of us. But what do you do when you don't achieve what you've gone after? What do you do when you fail? And the Bible is full of stories of people who failed, especially in the Old Testament. I love the Old Testament stories that show how real God's people are. I mean, think of Jacob, Jacob and Esau, or Cain and Abel. Just so many characters, men and women in the Bible. And I think the lesson, the teaching that God has for us is that we all fail, we all fall, and the key is get back up and try again. And you may then succeed, but you may have to change your course or change your path or change what you're going after. Everybody falls. All of us fail. The key is trusting God and asking God to guide us, to keep God's eyes on us, and to say, God, I've fallen again. I don't know what to do. Please help me. Now, again, Brooke, I'm not insinuating that you will not be successful. You have so much potential, and you will have successes. And I'm counting on your stories about becoming a helicopter pilot to help me remember my dad and all his stories. But what I want to share with you today is that God's idea of what is successful, of what is a good life, is often different from what the world's idea about successful and what a good life is. My take on it, my reading of the scriptures, is that a life lived in God, guided by God, is a life characterized by compassion and goodness and kindness. One of those Bible words, righteousness. The quality of practicing good morals, of practicing what is right. And by the way, I saw a post on Facebook that some guy answered a woman's, I'd like to get to know you better, one of those sites, and he said, well, I have good morals. And he meant morals. But she said, oh, mushrooms. Well, maybe morels are a good thing too. Anyway, he clearly can't spell, so she's already kind of wary of that. I have good morals. Morals. Living life the right way makes a difference. Having high character makes a difference, and it matters. When you are compassionate, when you are loving, when you seek to care for others, when you do the right thing, when you live your life in the right way, you tend to sleep better at night. When you tell the truth, which is a righteous way of being and living, you don't have to remember a lie or, what did I say to cover up that I wished I hadn't done. When you can be yourself in the dark as well as you are in the light, when you don't have to hide or be secretive, that makes a difference. And finally, abundant life with God consists of a mission. God gives you the opportunity, Brooke, to spend your life on something bigger than yourself. I've heard the saying that the two most important days in a woman or a man's life are the day that you're born and the day that you find out why God created you for more than you realize. And Brooke, I wish you all the success in the world. But know this, that you were created for more than just success. John Wesley, the beginner of our Methodist Church in the 1700s. Charlotte, did you remember that? It was in the 1700s, John Wesley. Remember that from confirmation? Just nod and say, yes, Pastor Kathy. Good. I knew you did. John Wesley has a wonderful blessing that I leave with all of us. He said, do all the good you can, by all the means you can, in all the ways you can, in all the places you can, at all the times you can, to all the people you can, as long as ever you can. And I will make copies of that to give out in coming Sundays. Those are pretty good words to live by. If you ever have a question about something you're doing or you're thinking or an action, listen to John Wesley. Do all the good you can, as long as ever you can. So for all of us, we were not created just to live for ourselves. We were created to be poured out for others. In that, we will find joy and happiness. Abundant life is not about having stuff. It's about having God's peace and having joy and having God in our lives. Abundant life is not about having more success, but about having Jesus in our hearts. Amen.